Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. For so many artists, the dream often starts with a DM. Something like, your band is amazing, you're the next big thing.
Oh, absolutely. It's that promise of a record deal, maybe a big signing bonus, stardom.
Yeah.
It sounds incredibly attractive.
It really does. Even with all the changes in the music business, that lure of the big break is still so powerful.
And you can imagine, for an independent artist hustling hard, these offers feel like, well, the ultimate shortcut.
Which is exactly why today we're doing a deep dive into this. This newer way record labels and distributors, too, are structuring deals. They're often pitched as, super attractive.
Or promising development, a path to the majors.
But beneath that shiny surface, sometimes they can lead to really devastating effects for the artist.
So our mission today is to kind of pull back the curtain on that seductive sales pitch. We want to help you, our listener, understand the real contractual stuff.
What's actually at stake with these new music deals?
Exactly. And most importantly, how artists can empower themselves, navigate these situations clearly. We'll look at how the deals are presented, what the contracts really say.
And how you can protect your future.
Right.
Okay, so let's paint a picture. A scenario we see playing out all the time. Imagine Tony. He's got this rock band, super talented.
Putting in the work, right. Posting online, playing gigs.
Totally. Doing the hard yards. Then boom, a stranger slides into his Instagram DMs.
And the message is pure flattery. Hey, Tony, your band's amazing. Your voice is next level. You're the next big thing.
It's that validation makes your heart race.
And that flattery, that's just the hook, From there, the pitch ramps up fast. Promises that sound almost, well, too good to be true.
Okay, so what kind of promises? Are we talking big leagues straight away?
Oh, yeah. Quickly, it turns to claims like, we've got connections to get you signed to Universal or another major.
Wow.
They might even dangle, like, getting Tony's band on tour with their rock heroes, everything an artist dreams of, basically.
And crucially, they frame it differently now, don't they? Not like those old-school controlling deals. More modern, more collaborative.
Precisely. The person talking to Tony will stress it's a partnership. They'll say he'll be treated super respectfully, not like just some little artist.
So it feels like a team effort. Your vision is valued.
That's the design, yes. It feels collaborative.
What about the practical side, the support? Do they offer to take stuff off the artist's plate?
They do. They'll talk about a whole suite of label services,
Yeah.
helping with merch, getting on big tours, setting up collabs.
Marketing, PR, booking shows.
All of it. Marketing, PR, booking shows. It sounds like this entire support team just appears out of nowhere to handle everything you've been struggling with on your own.
And the ultimate promise, the real carrot on the stick. Often it's this ascension plan, right?
Yes, exactly. The idea is, if Tony's band does well with this first label or distributor, they'll ascend them or upstream them straight into a major, like Universal.
So it's presented as this clear path. Step 1, step 2, big leagues.
Right. A defined route. And honestly, it's also incredibly smart business for that initial company. They essentially de-risk the artist for the major.
How so?
Well, if Tony's band performs well, they've gathered all this valuable data on his music's performance, streaming numbers, audience engagement. He becomes a pre-vetted, much safer bet for a bigger label.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So after all these promises, the grand vision, what's the actual financial hook? Is there usually like a lump sum?
Often, yeah. That's where the signing bonus or advance comes in. For Tony, maybe they offer, let's say, $100,000.
Wow, $100,000. That sounds amazing up front.
It really does. But, like you hinted, it's rarely just free cash. And it's not just traditional labels doing this anymore, is it?
No, we're seeing distributors get in on this too. The companies that traditionally just handle getting music onto platforms.
That's a huge shift. Distributors are acting more like mini labels now, offering development, financing, often with a twist.
What's the twist?
They often introduce license deals. Now, for an artist, this looks really attractive. Why? Because it suggests they keep ownership of their master recordings.
Their original track.
Exactly. The actual sound files. After the license period ends, unlike a traditional deal where the label usually takes ownership forever.
Okay, so on paper, a license deal from a distributor.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty good. You get help, maybe in advance, but you keep your masters long term. But what's the catch? What's the reality when you actually look at the contract?
Well, it does raise that key question about the agreement's nature. Distributors do offer a long license.
Yeah.
Could be 10 years now, maybe 5 years, with a bunch of options and extensions.
So not short term.
Definitely not. And yes, the artist does technically get their music back eventually. Yeah. That is a major difference from old school deals. but it still locks you into that specific agreement for a really significant time.
A big chunk of your career is tied up, even if you get the ownership back later.
Okay, and let's circle back to that advance.
Hmm.
The 100 grand for Tony. We need to be absolutely crystal clear here. It's not a gift, right? Not at all. This is where labels and distributors, they effectively start acting like a bank. That $100,000 advance, it's fundamentally a loan.
An investment, sure, but a loan first and foremost.
Exactly. It's not free money. They expect it back.
And the very first thing these companies do with any money your music earns is pay themselves back.
Correct. They get paid back first from the royalties.
That's recoupment.
That's the industry term, yes, recoupment. Every dollar your music generates goes straight back to paying off that advance and any other money they spent on you.
Wait, so it's not just the advance? All those label services they promised? Marketing, PR, videos?
All of it. Marketing campaigns, PR retainers, music video production costs, even buying onto tours or showcases. Every penny they spend on your behalf gets added to that loan balance you need to recoup.
Wow. So they're loaning you money to fund your career, then taking back every cent earned before you see anything.
Pretty much. And this is where it gets, well, often heartbreaking for artists.
Yeah.
It's a sad reality that many artists, they often never actually see any royalty checks.
But why? If the music is earning money.
Think of it like trying to pay off a credit card. But every time you use a service, new charges get added. Even if you're making money, maybe your streams are up, sales are happening.
There are always more costs.
Exactly. As you gain momentum, there's new expenses, there's a new album, new production fees, new distribution costs. The company keeps investing, which sounds good, but that balance just keeps growing.
So the recoupment goal keeps moving further away.
Right. You might be working super hard, seeing success on the surface, but that principal loan balance just keeps inflating. You never actually get to pocket any of the earnings yourself from the royalties.
It's like a treadmill effect. You're running, but staying perpetually in the red with the label.
That's a good way to put it.
This sounds like such a complex web. And it really makes you think about the long haul, especially with these upstream deals, the promise of moving to a major. What are the potential downsides there? The long-term traps for an artist like Tony who gets that golden ticket.
Well, one of the biggest risks, if Tony's band does do really well and gets upstreamed into Universal, let's say, they risk becoming a small fish in a very big pond.
Right. Going from being the star player on the small team
to just another name on a massive roster. That initial dedicated attention, maybe from a specific A&R person that's artist and repertoire, like your internal champion.
the person who really believed in you.
Yeah, that person might disappear. Or their influence diminishes. Once you move to the major, you're suddenly pushed up into a huge pool of a ton of different bands.
Yeah.
You might find you stop getting the attention you relied on.
That's a huge shift. From being a priority to maybe not so much.
And besides losing attention, is there a risk of losing creative control too? The thing they might have had with a smaller partner.
Absolutely. That initial partnership vibe, it can easily evaporate inside a bigger corporate machine. And remember, these companies, they're smart business people. Meaning they lock you in up front, often for a certain amount of time. Like we said, maybe it's a 10-year deal they signed initially. And this is the really critical trap, isn't it?
It is. Because let's say Tony's band does blow up. They become huge, globally successful. 3 years into that 10-year deal.
They're still stuck with the financial terms of that original, smaller deal, even though they're now at Universal.
That's the harsh reality. You can't come back and be like, I changed my mind. You're actually way underpaying me for where I'm at now.
No renegotiation based on your new value.
The financial terms are typically fixed to that first agreement you signed when you were a much smaller act. Even if you got ascended into Universal, you might still be operating under those old, less favorable terms. That major label prestige doesn't automatically mean better pay if you're locked in.
Wow. Okay. And beyond these specific upstreaming issues, it's probably worth mentioning quickly the general problems that can still pop up with record deals, even newer ones, right?
Oh, definitely. Things like the deal just being really long, developing a bad working relationship. Maybe the label is not actually working your project like they promised, or sudden shifts in priorities at the company.
Leaving you feeling kind of stranded.
Exactly. It just underscores why understanding all this is so vital, because ultimately the goal for any artist has to be empowering themselves in this whole landscape.
Absolutely. So let's talk empowerment. What's the first, the non-negotiable step an artist needs to take when they get one of these offers?
The single most important piece of advice, truly, no exceptions.
Yeah.
Always get an attorney. for any significant contract.
Always.
Always. Because really, no one else is looking out for you. An attorney's job is to negotiate for you, to explain everything clearly, lay out the risks.
Even the terrible things that potentially could happen.
Yes. So you can make a genuinely informed decision. Do you want this deal? Can you live with these terms? It's having that objective expert firmly in your corner.
Legal counsel is paramount, clearly. But beyond hiring a lawyer, what can artists do proactively to shift the power dynamic a bit? Maybe feel less powerless.
That really comes down to the power of your brand. Think about why getting signed to Universal feels exciting. It's the brand, right? The expectation of opportunity tied to that name.
Okay.
Artists need to apply that thinking to themselves. Focus on building your perception, your brand as an artist or band, what you can do, what you stand for. That's what ultimately makes a major label want you, hopefully on better terms down the line.
So it's about building your own value, your own heat, not just waiting to be discovered. How does an artist actually, build themselves up like that, adopt that DIY mindset today?
It starts with consistent effort. You got to hustle. You got to put out your social media constantly, put out great content. If a song doesn't connect, fine, pivot, create something else, keep going.
But it's more than just content, right?
Oh, yeah. Crucially, it also means becoming your own record label in a sense, by actually learning the music business.
That sounds daunting, like going back to school. It doesn't have to be that intense. There are way cheaper, more accessible ways now. Take a focused music business course online. Explore things like sync licensing.
Getting your music in films, TV, ads.
Exactly. That generates independent income. Or dive into music marketing yourself. The core goal is to start figuring out how to make your own money become self-sufficient.
Because that self-sufficiency gives you options.
Options are everything. It means you're not desperate. You're not backed into a corner when an offer comes along.
You can negotiate from strength.
Precisely. When you're self-sufficient, you have the option to stay independent if you want. Or you can choose to partner with a label or a distributor, but you do it from a position of strength, of awareness. You understand what's what.
You're not just swept away by the shiny promises.
Exactly. You're not blinded by that initial, potentially misleading sales pitch.
This has been, wow, such an insightful deep dive. We've really unpacked the undeniable attraction of these new deals, the advances, the ascension promises, but also dug into the complex, sometimes tough realities. Ownership issues, that relentless recoupment cycle, the long-term lock-ins.
And we've underscored just how critical it is to educate yourself, understand that advance is a loan, and always, always get that legal advice.
Have someone truly in your corner, building your own brand, becoming self-sufficient. That really is the path to navigating this with power.
So as you, our listener, think about all the, maybe you're an artist, maybe just fascinated by the industry, we want to leave you with this question. In an industry where knowledge is absolutely power, how might truly understanding these complex deals not just protect your future, but maybe fundamentally redefine what success actually looks like on your own terms?
That redefinition is so important. Moving beyond just chasing that traditional dream towards building something sustainable, knowing that the biggest check up front doesn't always equal long-term success or real independence.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.